What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined today by the man, Brian DeGennaro. How are we doing today, Brian?
I can't complain. How are you, Pat?
So corny, but I love it. I can't complain either. The Yankees are on a 10-game win streak. Bro, they're cruising. They're firing on all cylinders. But one guy I kind of want to focus on today, kind of option to the minor leagues yesterday, Luis Gil. He kind of bursted out on the scene as of late. Honestly, we weren't really expecting it. His numbers in AAA this season weren't too great. But in his 3 starts with the Yankees, didn't give up a run, but they still decided, you know what, we're going to give him the boot to the minors for now. We're going to talk a lot about that, kind of like where he fits with this team moving forward. And what we've seen from him so far that kind of makes him so impressive. But before we get into that, everyone be sure, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. We're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season, so stay tuned for all that content. You guys already know that, though. But yeah, like I said, Luis Gil. He came up, I want to say, like, during, like, the whole Yankees COVID outbreak deal, kind of as a replacement player because they had Cole go down, Monty go down. The Yankees were dying for some extra arms. And in 3 starts since coming up, Luis Gil was he pitched 15 and 2/3 innings. Only gave up 9 hits, 0 earned runs, Brian. 0 earned runs in his first 3 starts in the majors. That's historical. I know we like throw around that word a lot, but bro, that's a historical debut. But I think the issue with Gil was always, we said this when he first came up, right? Even if he lights things up, it's going to be very difficult to find a space for him on the roster, especially going into the postseason. Because now Cole's back, Monty's back. We're expecting Kluber to come back soon. Don't really know what the deal is with Severino just yet. Herman is probably going to be coming back. So I'm not necessarily too sure where we're going to see Luis Gil in the near future for the Yankees. Obviously, he could definitely make a bid for the starting rotation spot for next year. But as of right now, it's really tough to figure out a way where the Yankees can, like, make space for him on the postseason roster. And I think that's kind of like what they're looking towards right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's still a young guy. He could still use some development. We saw he was a little bit shaky up here. He pitched really well. Like, I don't want to take that away from him at all. But there were points where he didn't look dominant. So he could definitely use a little bit more development. And I think they want to see that out of him. But like you said, it really comes down to roster numbers. They just don't have the room for him, especially with everyone that's coming back from the IL. So it's just unlucky at this point. But I think was a key takeaway for this is that he came up, he got his opportunity, and he pitched so well, and the organization is going to take that into account going forward.
But that's what bothers me so much, right? This is a perfect example of what we've kind of been talking about all season. The fact that the Yankees don't tend to reward players who are doing well, and they also don't hold players accountable who aren't doing well, right? You have Luis Gil pitching out of his mind, just like we said. No one was really expecting it either, based on him having like a 5 ERA in AAA and a small sample size, but still. And then what reward does he get out of that, Brian? He gets sent down to AAA. A very fair comparison here is like Greg Allen getting sent down, right? After just a fantastic appearance with the Yankees over the month of, I guess, most of July, he was with the team. But it's kind of just a problem within the organization that we look at. And it's like players don't seem to be rewarded for great performance, and they also don't tend to get, like, ridiculed for poor performance. So I don't know. It's really annoying simply because when I look at a guy like Luis Gil, and when I said, like, there's unfortunately not really space for him, that's me coming from, like, the Yankees perspective. If I'm running the Yankees right now, I'm finding any way possible to keep Luis Gil on this roster. Because when a guy's dominating, like, to this level, you don't send him down just so Andrew Heaney can make a start against the Braves, right? Because that's like the whole reason he's going down. He was supposed to pitch on Sunday against the Twins in that series finale. Obviously, that got shut out because of the fake hurricane. But and then, like, you would assume that maybe they would give him the start either Monday or Tuesday against the Braves, but that wasn't the case either because they announced, you know what, Luis Gil's next start's going to be in the minor leagues, and Andrew Heaney's going to be pitching Game 2 against the Braves on Tuesday. So I can only imagine what that does to this kid's confidence, right? Like, what goes on in your head at that point, to the point where Luis Gil's like, yeah, came up, did what I had to do. I did more than what I had to do, honestly. I'm giving the Yankees just some of the best baseball they've seen in a while. And then I get rewarded by getting sent back down to AAA. Like, I can only imagine what that's doing to his confidence right now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to keep the guy up. He's got, 18 strikeouts and, 15 innings pitched?
Yeah.
So anytime you have more strikeouts than innings pitched, that's such a great sign. So, it seems like there are probably reasons we don't know why the organization is keeping it down. Maybe it's advanced statistics that they don't like or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. I
We've
don't want to
heard
make
that so many
excuses for.
times, bro.
I know, and I don't want to make excuses for them. But from our perspective, it seems like this is a guy that should be on the major league roster right now, right? Do you really want to see Heaney over him? I
No,
mean,
for sure. And I
Heaney
think if
looked
it was up to
good.
the Yankees, like they probably, if they could go back, they probably wouldn't have acquired Heaney if they knew that he would come up and be this special. But obviously, they didn't
Yeah,
necessarily know that, and also they
hmm
can't just DFA Heaney. You know what I mean?
they
Especially after like
could.
a solid start after against the Red Sox. I just
Yeah.
find it very like confusing. For if the Yankees did like DFA Heaney, I think that would kind of be like them admitting defeat so early on. Andrew Heaney has what like 3 starts with the team.
Yeah,
Um,
something like that.
I don't know, but I'm kind of like looking at a postseason scenario, and I think the Yankees kind of are too. I guess their idea is the rosters expand by about, I think it goes up to 28, so they get 2 extra players starting on September
Yeah.
1st. Maybe they're like, you know what, maybe we'll bring Heel back up on September 1st when the rosters expand, and he could, since we don't plan on using him in the big leagues for now, we could send him down and he could get a start back there. And then if we
Yeah.
need him in September, he'll come back up. Maybe that's what the reasoning is. And they're also like, well, we don't necessarily see a fit for him when the playoffs come around because we'd rather have a guy like, I don't know, Kluber in the rotation just because of his pedigree and kind of, you know, what you're going to get. I'm just disappointed that we didn't see Heel do this earlier on in the season, right? Because it would have saved the
Yeah.
Yankees from going out and getting Heaney at the deadline. It would have
Yeah.
saved the Yankees from just being in the situation that they are in now, which is kind of good, right? The Yankees are in a good spot in the sense of they have too much starting pitching. It's a good problem to have that they have so much
Absolutely.
depth. Really
Yeah.
good problem. But I mean, like one more point I kind of want to make about Heel before we do wrap things up here is just the a different vibe that he brought to the Yankees mound, right? It was very reminiscent of like 2015 Severino. I'm not sure if you remember, but when
Oh
Luis
yes.
Severino made his debut with the Yankees in 2015, it just provided like that different swagger, that different aura about him on the mound. And he was a dominant presence for the short amount of time that he was with the Yankees. Now,
hmm
obviously, we don't really know what the future holds for him, but I think based on what we saw in a small sample size, which was only 3 starts, I can say that I'm thoroughly impressed from what we saw out
Absolutely.
of Luis Gil, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who had what, like a 5.5 ERA in the
About that,
minors
yeah.
this year. Yeah, and comes up and just dominates. So, I mean, you have to look at it from the perspective. Maybe the organization is thinking like it's gonna even out at some point. He's gonna revert back to whatever. But it does suck that he's not here right now, and we would like to see him here. But unfortunately, there just isn't room for him, and I
Bro,
don't
I just
see
want to see
him
that
making
energy. That's all I want
what.
to see. I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see his energy
I
on the mound.
absolutely.
And listen, also like another guy we could kind of compare it to is like Steven Ridings, right? I feel like he was
Yeah,
kind of in the same boat as Luis Gil in the sense of like, yeah, they came up and they did what they had to do, showed that fire on the mound, and they got the performance too,
and it was a
beyond what the
shock.
Yankees were expecting. And
Yeah.
then they just get sent down because unfortunately the Yankees kind of prefer guys like Jolie Rodriguez to get a roster spot just because they view them as a better fit. Now, obviously, all the moves that the Yankees make don't necessarily make sense to us. But I guess they make sense to the Yankees, so we're just gonna have to sit and deal with it. I don't know. But bottom line is, Luis Gil still has a bright future with the Yankees. Now, whether if that's this season or next season or the following season, he has a bright future whenever he comes back up. And when he does, I'm looking forward to it tremendously. But with that being
Absolutely.
said, that is going to be wrapping things up for today's episode of Unhinged Talk. Appreciate you all for stopping by. You guys know the deal. Luis Gil is the real deal. I know, Brian, that was so bad. I'm sorry. But
It's
everyone be
okay.
sure, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. You guys know the deal. We're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season. But you know that already. They know that, Brian. But stay
Everyone knows
happy,
that.
stay healthy, stay safe. See you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees. Keep up that win streak. Peace.